things.
I agree with her on one thing. The
Yeah.
single greatest problem the world has is
Taxes.
nuclear armament, nuclear weapons. Not global warming like you think and your president thinks. Nuclear is
Your
the single
president?
greatest threat. Just to go down the list.
Holy
We
shit.
defend Japan. We defend Germany. We defend South Korea. We defend Saudi Arabia. We defend countries. They do not pay us
Yeah.
what they should be paying us.
It's called
because we
vigorous.
are providing tremendous service, and
Yeah.
we're losing a fortune.
Yeah.
That's why we're losing.
It's called protection.
We lose on everything.
Yeah, we lose.
So
Everything
who
lose.
makes these?
We
We
lose.
lose on everything.
They lose on everything.
Well, I said that it's very possible that if they don't pay a fair share, because this isn't 40 years ago where we could do what we're doing.
Yeah.
We can't defend Japan, a behemoth selling us cars by the million.
We need to move on.
But it's very important. All I said was they may have to defend
They
themselves.
sell us cars.
Or they have to
Ask
help
Sean.
us out. We're a country that owes $20 trillion.
Call Sean
They have to
Hannity.
help us out.
Our
As
last-
far as the nuclear is concerned, I agree.
Yeah.
It is the single greatest threat that this country has.
Yeah.
Which
Oh,
leads to my
thank you.
next question as we enter our last segment here still on the subject of securing America. On nuclear weapons, President Obama reportedly considered changing the nation's longstanding policy on first use. Do you support the current policy? Mr. Trump, you have 2 minutes on that.
Well, I have to say that, for what Secretary Clinton was saying about nuclear with Russia, she's very cavalier in the way she talks
Whoa!
about various
I can say
countries.
cavalier,
But Russia's
too.
been expanding. They have a much newer capability than we do. We have not been updating from the new standpoint. I looked the other night, I was seeing B-52s. They're old enough that your father, your grandfather could be flying them. We are not keeping
Oh
up
my
with
God.
other countries.
What
I would
about
like
stealth
everybody to
bombers,
end it,
asshole?
Just get rid of it.
Oh, my God.
But I would certainly not do first strike. I think that once the nuclear alternative happens, it's over. At the same time, we have to be prepared. I can't take anything off the table because you look at some of these countries. You look at North Korea. We're doing nothing there. China should solve that problem for us. China should go into North Korea. China is totally powerful as it relates to North Korea. And by the way, another one powerful is the worst deal I think I've ever seen negotiated that you started is the Iran deal. Iran is one of their biggest trading partners. Iran has power over North Korea. And when they made that horrible deal with Iran, they should have included the fact that they do something with respect to North Korea. And they should have done something with respect to Yemen and all these other places. And when asked to Secretary Kerry, why didn't you do that? Why didn't you add other things into the deal?
Iran is
One
not
of the great
bombing
giveaways
Yemen,
of
you
all time,
asshole.
of all time, including $400 million in cash.
Kish.
Nobody's ever seen that before. That turned out to be wrong. It was actually $1.7 billion in cash. Obviously, I guess, for the hostages, it certainly looks that way.
Oh, my
God. So you say to
God.
yourself, why didn't they make the right deal? This is one of the worst deals ever made by any country
Ask Sean.
in history.
Ask Sean
The
Hannity.
deal with Iran will lead to nuclear problems. All they have to do is sit back 10 years, and they don't have to do much,
your
and
2
they're going
minutes
to
has
end up
expired.
getting nuclear. I met with Bibi Netanyahu the other day. Believe me, he is not a happy camper.
All right. Mrs. Clinton, Secretary Clinton, you have 2 minutes.
Let me start by saying words matter. Words matter when you run for president, and they really matter when you are president. And I want to reassure our allies in Japan and South Korea and elsewhere that we have mutual defense treaties and we will honor them. It is essential that America's word be good. And so I know that this campaign has caused some questioning and some worries on the part of many leaders across the globe. I've talked with a number of them. But I want to, on behalf of myself and I think on behalf of a majority of the American people, say that, our word is good. It's also important that we look at the entire global situation. There's no doubt that we have other problems with Iran, but personally, I'd rather deal with the other problems having put that lid on their nuclear program than still to be facing that. And Donald never tells you what he would do. Would he have started a war? Would he have bombed Iran? If he's going to criticize a deal that has been very successful in giving us access to Iranian facilities that we never had before, then he should tell us what his alternative would be. But it's like his plan to defeat ISIS. He says it's a secret plan, but the only secret is that he has no plan. So we need to be more precise in how we talk about these issues. People around the world follow our presidential campaigns so closely, trying to get hints about what we will do. Can they rely on us? Are we going to lead the world with strength and in accordance with our values? That's what I intend to do. I intend to be a leader of our country that people can count on, both here at home and around the world, to make decisions that will further peace and prosperity, but also stand up to bullies, whether they're abroad or at home. We cannot let those who would try to destabilize the world, to interfere with American interests and security, to be given any opportunities at all.
Is expired.
Let's do one thing I'd like to say.
Very quickly.
I will go very quickly, but I will tell you that
I made a lot of money.
Hillary will tell you to go to her website and read all about how to defeat ISIS, which she could have defeated by never having it, get going in the first place. Right now,
get
it's getting
going.
tougher and tougher to defeat them.
Because you and Obama started ISIS.
More and more states, more and more nations.
Mr. Trump.
And it's a big problem. And as far as Japan is concerned, I want to help all of our allies.
Yeah.
But we are losing
We need deals.
billions and billions of dollars. We cannot be
We need
the policeman
deals.
of the world. We cannot protect countries.
Give me
all over
deals
the
here.
world
Wait a
because
minute.
they're
Ask
not
Sean
paying
Hannity.
us what
Fucking
we
A,
need.
he'll tell you.
And
Just a few final
She doesn't
questions.
say that because she's got no business ability. We need heart. We need a lot of things, but you have to have some basic ability. And sadly, she doesn't have that. All of the things that she's talking about could have been taken care of during the last 10 years, let's say, while she had great power. But they weren't taken care of. And if she ever wins this race, they won't be taken care
Mr. Trump,
of.
this year, Secretary Clinton became the first woman nominated for president by a major party. Earlier this month, you said she doesn't have, quote, a presidential look. She's standing here right now. What did you mean by that?
She doesn't have the look. She doesn't have the stamina. I said she doesn't have the stamina.
She wears a dress.
And I don't believe she does have the stamina. To be president of this country, you need tremendous stamina.
Like I have.
You
I just
have.
don't think she has
wait
a
a minute, Leslie. You
presidential
asked me a
look.
question. Did you ask me a question?
Yeah,
You
asshole.
have to be able to negotiate.
Ask
our
Sean
trade
Hannity.
deals.
He'll
You have to
fucking
be
tell
able
you.
to negotiate.
Yeah.
That's right. With Japan, with
Wait a
Saudi
minute.
Arabia. I mean, can you imagine we're defending
wears
Saudi
a
Arabia,
dress.
and with all
Oh, no, she
the
wears
money they
pantsuit.
have,
Never
we're
mind.
defending them, and they're not paying. All you have to do is speak to them. Wait, you have so
How
many
did this
different
guy
ways you have to be
get
able
the
to do,
Republican
and I don't believe that
nomination?
Hillary has the stamina.
Let's let her respond.
Well, as soon as he travels to 112 countries and negotiates a peace deal, a ceasefire, a release of dissidents, an opening of new opportunities in
yeah,
nations
that's
around
bullshit.
the world, or even spends 11 hours testifying.
I got a building in
in front of, a
Washington.
congressional
The
committee
fuck?
and talk to me about stamina.
The world.
Yeah!
Let me tell you. Hillary has experience, but it's bad experience. We have made so many bad deals during the last
Deals.
So she's got experience that I agree,
Yeah.
but it's bad,
Woo!
bad experience. Whether it's the Iran deal that you're so in love with, where we gave them $150 billion back, whether it's the Iran
150
deal,
billion?
whether it's anything
It was
that- You almost can't name a good deal.
1.7, and it
I
was
agree.
their money.
She's got experience, but it's bad experience. And this country can't afford to have another 4 years of that kind of experience.
We are at the
Ah!
final
One
question.
thing,
Very
Lester,
quickly, because
is,
we're at the final question
he
now.
tried to switch from looks to stamina. But this is a man who has called women pigs, slobs, and dogs, and someone who has said pregnancy is an inconvenience to employers, who has
never said
said
that.
women don't
never
deserve
said
equal
that.
pay unless they do as good a job as
Didn't say
men.
I never said that.
And one of the worst
Ask
things
Sean.
he said was about a woman in a beauty contest. He loves beauty contests, supporting them and hanging around them. And he called this woman Miss
Hanging
Piggy.
around it. Miss Piggy.
Then he called her Miss Housekeeping because she was Latina. Donald, she has a name.
Where did you find
Her
this?
name
Where
is
did you find
Alicia
this?
Machado.
Where did you find
and
it?
she has become a U.S. citizen, and you can bet
really?
she's going to
Yeah.
vote
Oh,
this
yeah.
November.
Okay, good.
Oh.
Let me just tell you.
Mr. Trump,
me
could we
just
just
tell
take
you.
10 seconds and then
You
we're going to have
know,
the final question?
Hillary is hitting me with tremendous commercials. Some of it said in entertainment. Some of it said somebody who's been very vicious to me, Rosie O'Donnell. I said very tough
Rosie
things to her, and
O'Donnell?
I think everybody would agree that she deserves it, and nobody feels sorry for her. But you want to know?
What?
I was going to
Oh
say
my God!
something
Please, very quickly.
extremely
She deserves it.
Rough.
Rosie O'Donnell
to
deserves it.
Hillary, to her family, and I said to myself, I can't do it. I just can't do it. It's inappropriate. It's not nice. But she spent hundreds of
Millions of dollars
on negative ads,
Negative
on there,
advertising.
many of which are absolutely untrue.
Untrue.
They're untrue, and they're
Untrue.
misrepresentations.
Yeah. I make deals.
And I will tell you this, Lester, it's not nice. And I don't deserve that, but it's certainly not a nice thing that she's done.
It's not nice.
Hundreds of millions of ads, and the
Mommy.
only gratifying thing is I saw the polls come in today.
Yeah.
And with all of that money,
We
over
have to move on to
$200
the
million
final question.
is spent, and I'm either winning or tied,
One
and
of
I've
you-
spent practically nothing.
One of you will not win this election. So my final question to you tonight, are you willing to accept the outcome as the will of the voters? Secretary Clinton?
Well, I support our democracy. And sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. But I certainly will support the outcome of this election. And I know Donald's trying very hard to plant doubts about it, but I hope the people out there understand this election's really up to you. It's not about us so much as it is about you and your families and the kind of country and future you want. So I sure hope you will get out and vote as though your future depended on it, because I think it does.
Mr. Trump, very quickly, the same question. Will you accept the outcome as the will of the voters?
I want to make America great again. We are a nation that is seriously troubled. We're losing our jobs. People are pouring in
for
to our country.
fuck's
The other
sake.
day, we were deporting 800 people, and perhaps they passed the wrong button, they pressed the wrong button, or perhaps, worse than that, it was corruption. But these people that we were going to deport for good reason ended up becoming citizens.
What?
And it was 800, and now it turns out it might be 1,800, and they don't even know.
Will you accept
Look,
the outcome
here's
of
the
the
story.
election?
I want to make America great again. I'm going to be able to do it. I don't believe Hillary will.
I can make
The answer
deals.
is, if she wins, I will absolutely support her.
All right. Well, that is going to do it for us. That concludes our debate for this evening. A spirited
my
one. We covered a lot of
God.
ground. Not everything, as I suspected we wouldn't. The next presidential debates are scheduled for October 9th at Washington
right, you
University
can
in
take
St.
it out.
Louis and October 19th at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas. The conversation
Oh,
will continue.
dear
A reminder,
God.
the vice presidential debate is scheduled for October.
I don't know. I don't know where to begin. I mean, the only place I can begin is to question what I said a few minutes ago. How in the hell did the Republican Party come up with this moron, this asshole?
I guess Donald's not going to shake Lester.
Oh, there he goes. He's coming back to shake his hand. There you go. Yeah. I mean, I like I say, I can't. Kathy, open up the lines real quick. We'll take some calls. They're going to be quick. You got to talk fast. You know, you can call Sean Hannity, 470-545-1950. If you just watch this bullshit, and I'll tell you, I don't care what your affiliation is. I don't care what you believe. There was one clear, just incredible loser up there tonight. To think that that guy could be president? Holy Jesus Christ. I mean, I've never... a couple of times, first of all, I thought he was going to start crying, sticking his lip out, looking at people in the audience. And not true. Not true. That's Sean Hannity. I talked to Sean. You know, Sean is home right now with a huge erection because Sean's never had his voice out in front of 100, or his name out 100 million people. So, Trump, I mean, it was incredible. Trump keeps saying, ask Sean Hannity. Ask Sean Hannity. Call him Sean. Call him up right now. Jesus H. Bleeding Christ on the cross.